What you are about to hear is the story of Julian and Elise love that defied the elegance and rigid rules of the Rococo Ballroom. Bound by passion yet torn by duty, they faced an impossible choice that would change their lives forever. The grand ballroom shimmers beneath the glow of chandeliers, each crystal refracting light onto the silk-draped walls and polished marble floors. Musicians play a lively melody, filling the air with notes that echo through the lavish Rococo hall. Guests adorned in elaborate gowns and fine suits, their faces hidden behind delicate masks, sway to the rhythm of the dance. It's an evening of spectacle, a gathering of society's elite, where alliances are made and fortunes are forged. Julian, a young nobleman with piercing eyes and an air of quiet mystery, stands beside his fiancée, Lady Vivian. She is a vision of elegance, draped in a gown that reflects her family's wealth and status, and their families have arranged their union with care. As the couple takes to the dance floor, the guests watch with admiration, their every movement a picture of grace. But Julian's heart is elsewhere. His gaze wanders, his eyes searching the crowd until they settle on a figure standing near the edge of the room. Elise, a woman of modest means and quiet beauty, had never expected to find herself at such an event. Invited by a distant family member, she feels out of place among the nobility. She wears a simple dress that pales in comparison to the finery around her, but her poise and quiet confidence draw the attention of more than a few onlookers. Julian is captivated the moment he sees her presence like a single, untamed flower amidst a carefully curated garden. As the dance progresses, Julian's attention remains fixed on Elise, his every step mechanical as he glides across the floor with his fiancée. Elise, sensing his gaze, dares to meet his eyes, a spark passing between them that is both thrilling and forbidden. She quickly looks away, her cheeks flushed, but the connection lingers. She cannot ignore the intensity in his eyes, a pull that makes her heart race even as she knows the danger in it. When the dance ends, Julian excuses himself from his fiance's side, slipping through the crowd until he stands near Elise. The room's laughter and music fade as they meet, their gazes locking in a silent acknowledgement of something profound and undeniable. He bows slightly, offering her a hand as a new dance begins. She hesitates, aware of the impropriety, but a soft smile graces her lips as she accepts. As they move together in the shadows of the grand hall, they speak only through glances, each touch of their hands charged with a thrill that neither has felt before. Julian, the nobleman bound by duty, and Elise, the outsider in this world of wealth and influence, are aware of the impossibility of their connection. Yet, in that moment, as they share the forbidden dance, nothing else matters. The world falls away, leaving only the silent promise that passes between them, a promise of something forbidden, dangerous, yet too powerful to ignore. As the night wears on, they part reluctantly, each returning to their respective places. Julian takes his fiance's arm once more, and Elise slips back into the anonymity of the crowd. But as their eyes meet across the ballroom one last time, both know that this is only the beginning, that this fleeting encounter will change their lives forever. As the days pass, Julian finds himself haunted by the memory of that night, of the intense connection he felt with Elise in the crowded ballroom. He can no longer ignore the stirrings within him, and each evening finds him wandering the palace corridors, hoping for a glimpse of her. Against the tapestry of grand events and lavish affairs, he and Elise exchange fleeting glances, stolen smiles, and silent words shared only through their eyes. One evening, during a masquerade, Julian sees her once again, standing beneath a stone archway adorned with flowers. Her face partially concealed by a delicate mask, she stands apart from the revelry, her gaze fixed on the stars above. He approaches her slowly, his heart pounding, aware that with every step he takes, he is risking everything. She senses his presence and turns, her eyes meeting his with a look of both anticipation and fear. "Why are you here?" she whispers, her voice filled with a mixture of longing and trepidation. Julian, struggling to find the words, reaches out and takes her hand, pulling her closer into the shadows where prying eyes cannot see. "Because I cannot stay away, Elise. No matter how hard I try, I am drawn to you as though fate itself has bound me to you." She looks at him, her eyes reflecting the same undeniable pull. They stand together in silence, the soft music from the masquerade drifting through the air as he raises her hand to his lips, pressing a gentle kiss to her gloved fingers. The touch is charged, filled with an unspoken promise, a longing that neither can suppress. Elise knows the danger of this path, the perilous line they are walking, yet she cannot turn away from him. The following days bring more stolen moments. They meet in secret brief encounters in the gardens, hidden exchanges in the corridors of the estate, each one deepening their connection and fueling the flame of their forbidden love. Julian confides in Elise, speaking of the pressures of his title, a marriage arranged by his family to secure alliances and preserve their wealth. In turn, Elise tells him of her dreams, of the life she has imagined beyond the confines of the palace walls, a life she once thought impossible but now begins to see glimpses of in his presence. Yet, as their love grows, so too does the pressure on Julian to fulfill his duty. His fiancée, Lady Vivian, begins to sense his distance, the subtle shift in his attentions. Whispers circulate among the nobility, hinting at Julian's divided heart, and his family grows concerned, reminding him of the responsibility he bears to uphold the family name. At their next secret meeting, Elise's voice is filled with a mixture of despair and hope. "Julian, if this is only a dream, then let me wake. For the longer I linger, the harder it becomes to let go." But Julian, desperate to keep her close, promises her everything. "I cannot bear the thought of losing you, Elise. I am bound by duty, yes, but my heart it belongs to you alone. Tell me, if there were a way, if I could defy them all, would you stay by my side?" She looks at him, her eyes filled with tears, and nods. "I would, Julian. I would follow you anywhere." As they part that night, their hearts are filled with a love more powerful than either of them could have anticipated. Yet, the reality of their world looms ever closer, the shadows of duty and expectation threatening to consume the fragile happiness they have found in each other. The night of Julian's engagement ball arrives, a grand affair where nobility and wealth gather to celebrate his impending union with Lady Vivian. The ballroom glows with the light of 1,000 candles, and opulent decorations adorn every corner. Guests are dressed in their finest attire, their laughter and conversation filling the air. But Julian stands apart, his heart weighed down by a love he cannot forget. He searches the room, hoping against hope to catch a glimpse of Elise. She had promised not to come, not wanting to witness the final step toward a future that would sever them forever. Yet, drawn by a force stronger than her resolve, she lingers in the shadows, watching him from afar, her heart breaking with every passing moment. When their eyes meet, time seems to halt. Julian, unable to resist, excuses himself from the gathering and slips away, following Elise as she retreats to the secluded gardens outside the ballroom. There, beneath the moonlit sky and surrounded by the quiet beauty of the gardens, they stand together for what may be the last time. "Elise," Julian whispers, his voice raw with emotion. "I cannot marry her. I cannot live a life built on duty when my heart has known true love. Tell me that you feel the same, and I will abandon all of this, my title, my fortune, everything for you. Tears spill from Elise's eyes as she clasps his hands, her heart torn between her love for him and the reality of their worlds. Julian, to follow you would be to lose everything. I would bring shame to your family, disgrace to your name. We would have nothing but each other. Julian's grip tightens, his gaze filled with desperate resolve. Then let it be so. If I must live without wealth, without titles, I will. But I cannot live without you. They stand there, holding each other as the weight of their decision presses down on them. The music from the ballroom drifts into the night, reminding them of the life they are both willing to abandon. Just as they resolve to escape, footsteps sound from the pathway. Lady Vivian appears, her face twisted in pain and fury as she realizes the depth of Julian's betrayal. You would throw everything away for her. She demands, her voice trembling. For a woman who can offer you nothing. Julian steps forward, his expression calm and resolute. Yes, Vivian. For love, for something real, something that all the wealth in the world cannot give. Vivian turns away, her face a mask of anger and wounded pride, before disappearing back into the ballroom, leaving Julian and Elise to face the world they have just defied. That night, Julian and Elise leave the palace, hand in hand, venturing into an uncertain future. They carry nothing but the love they share, a love that defied class, duty, and expectation. They know hardship lies ahead, but they are buoyed by the knowledge that they have chosen each other. Years later, whispers of the nobleman who abandoned his title for a common woman circulate through the courts. But Julian and Elise live a quiet, humble life in the countryside, far from the grandeur of the ballroom, finding joy and fulfillment in each other's company. Their story becomes a legend, a tale of love that was willing to sacrifice everything, a reminder that true love can conquer even the strictest boundaries of society.